What is up, everybody? I'm Sean.
And I'm Tom.
And
we're the Black Bros.
Hey, so what I've noticed about that is that even if it sounds like we do it right, like on our end, when we listen to the podcast back, it is so fucking off, like every time. And like I was thinking about it the other day, and I'm like, dude, it could be funny if like we actually like eventually made like an intro where it's just we record it separately and we play that. And then I was like, I don't know, it's kind of our thing to fuck it up every time.
Right?
Yeah. Let us know if you like us fucking it up, because like it's legit not on purpose. It's just hard because we're across the internet.
Yeah, if you want us, we'll mouth the words every time. Like fucking.
I think it's better that we just fuck it up. I think it's honestly better. All right. Well, hey, welcome to Vlog Bros Podcast. Tom, tell me about your week.
Pretty good week. Good to be back tattooing. I've been watching the FIFA World Cup, honestly. Like everyone's got FIFA, fever, even though it's corrupt. I'm not gonna get into the reffing of the USA match. That's not why I'm doing this podcast today. Like,
I know nothing about it, so it'd be again sports on an indie game podcast.
Right, I know, but yeah, it's just yeah. Okay, besides that though, I got like a bunch of Christmas shopping done the other day, and I ate at this little place called Ichido Ramen, and it is so good there. Like, if you guys have ever like been to like a legit like ramen place, oh my god, it's so good. I'm not one to usually take pictures of my food, but I'm like, I'm gonna take a picture of this fucking food. Like,
not to DDoS myself, but there's one of those by my house, and me and Adia go a lot. So.
Yeah, like it's just, and it's like I realized I could mostly cook it like by myself, but it's like I don't want to get all the ingredients just to make all that. So it was so nice just to be doing Christmas shopping and go like get ramen. So good little awesome day, honestly, the other day. So,
dude, if I had to recommend one thing from their menu, something that we always get when we go is the bao buns. They're like they're like little sandwiches essentially, but I don't know how they make. I mean, we've made them before at our place, but they're like steamed rolls, right? And they're literally the most delicious bread I've ever had in my life. And they put like pork belly and then like this like chipotle ranch sauce in there with like lettuce.
Yeah.
I had orgasms while eating. People had to remove me from the restaurant for lewd behavior.
Yeah, honestly, no matter what you order at like a ramen place, you're probably gonna get something good. So
yeah, it's super good shit. But so I was sick pretty much from like fun thing. So for everyone who doesn't know, if you're this far into the podcast, I'm currently unemployed. I stream full time, and I am in school for the next 3 months. I've been in school for a month, and because of that, to make up for like my lack of income on my stream, I do shots for subs. And my friend, one of my loyal subscribers, took advantage of that in the best way, and they gifted out 25 subs at once. And I had to drink 25 shots that night. And that ended up culminating, I don't know that word, into finishing off 3 separate bottles, because that's all I had around me. But after that night, somehow I got wickedly sick. Like, not from the alcohol, but because my girlfriend came home with like a sickness from her job, and I have a shit immune system, and so I went from being like blackout drunk to being really sick the next day.
God damn.
So I was just like sick for basically like the whole week after Wednesday, and I just got better like yesterday. So I'm back to streaming now, but that's pretty much all I did the entire time I was gone. I was basically in bed. I was either drunk or in bed.
God damn. Yeah, I remember like coming in and we're playing Shiv, and you're like, maybe I should break these up into like 2 separate streams. I'm like, oh my god.
No, I finished it. I was I was a
that was
trooper,
impressive,
bro.
honestly.
Any lesser man would have died.
I mean, I definitely would have. Like,
Don't try that at home, kids. That's a warning. I have
yeah,
a steel liver.
yeah. You don't know what this man has been through to earn that like level of like.
But also currently I'm completely unsupervised for this week. We like to joke, me and my girlfriend like to joke that I'm a need supervision boyfriend because I do a lot of really dumb shit when I'm not being supervised. So she's gone for this entire week. So if I wind up dead, if I'm not here for next week's podcast, that's why. I guess. But yeah, tonight we are talking about a game that I have been super into lately. It is I like to describe it as, I like to put my own little twist on it. I call it the roguelike revival. It's the Binding of Isaac, which is like a really old cult classic game. What do you think about the Binding of Isaac, Tom?
The game or the biblical?
You know what? You decide. I'll let you take that. That's your answer. You can decide.
Right, yeah. No, this is such a good fucking game, to be quite honest. Like, I mean, even though it's like one of the older games we're gonna talk about, like it's an OG here, but like this game single-handedly brought back a dying kind of game. Like it like when he says revival, he means it, because like this style of game just was not around like then. It either wasn't around or it was dying out. Like it was big before that, but this game brought it back, and it's really put its own stamp. Basically, you know, it's like I don't know, fucking. Not gonna compare it to like Neil Armstrong going to the moon, but being the first one there, why would in your face, Neil Armstrong? But it's like the first one to like do that, and then everybody wants to do that. That's what.
It was. That's why I like to call it the revival of roguelike, because it literally, before this, like Tom said, it was a very dying genre, and this game is just such a cult classic that it left its mark on the industry. And after that, you saw other games pop up. Like, we're gonna mention them later, but a lot of other major games popped up because of this game. And this game has gone through so many different phases and transitions and revivals and other shit that it's just such a beloved game in the community. And I've been playing it nonstop for the past like 4 days. So I'm really into it right now, and I'm really glad we're talking about it. But we're talking about the Binding of Isaac. A quick overview of the Binding of Isaac. The Binding of Isaac is a roguelike game. It's developed by a man named Edmund McMillan. I saw a picture of him. He looks just like a magnificent bearded beast of a man.
Mm-hmm.
And he was also helping him was also someone called Florian Himsel. I think that's how you say it. It's Himsl. It's a top-down dungeon crawler where you play the character of Isaac, who is a small child, or you play one of 7 unlockable characters, which we'll talk about later, in a procedurally generated dungeon, which is the case with most roguelike titles. But this is kind of like the defining time. This is like the first time this has happened. Basically, you're defeating monsters and collecting items and power-ups to defeat other items and power-ups. If you die, you lose everything. And the game came from a week-long game jam between the developers after McMillan's huge success with a game called Super Meat Boy. This game has sold over... Yeah, you might not. This game has sold over 3 million copies, and a lot of people credit it with the revival of roguelike. So that's the intro. Let's talk about the storyline. Let's hear something to add, Tom.
No, that's pretty much it. Like, you nailed that. So
nice. Yeah, I'm super into this game, if you can tell.
Storyline.
I'm gonna take this too because I'm really into it.
Yeah,
Usually
go right
take
ahead.
turns, but
Yeah,
fucking, I'm rolling it.
roll.
So the reason that I think this game, one of the reasons that it's so good is partially because of the simple yet effective storyline. The storyline is very loosely based on the biblical story. I don't know if it's biblical or, well, I mean the
Yeah,
Jewish
Binding
beliefs
of
and the
Isaac. Yeah, it is a
yeah.
biblical story. It's
Okay, yeah, it's based on the biblical tale of the Binding of Isaac, and basically the game opens up, and you're a small child in a house drawing, and your mom is sitting next to you, and she's watching TV, and on the TV she's watching Christian broadcasts, and as you're busy drawing pictures, your mother hears a voice from what she perceives to be God talking to her. And it's really funny. Like the game opens up with it. It's hilarious, and it's all like drawn poorly. I love it. I love it so much. And essentially they're saying that the voice from above says, I am God, like your son is corrupted with sin and it must be saved, and you have to seal him off from the world and take away all his drawings and clothes and toys. So she does all that and she throws him in his room, and then later on she goes back to watching the programming, and the voice says, I need you to kill your son, essentially.
yeah,
And she says, okay, God. And as she's coming to the door, right as she's coming to the door with a knife to kill Isaac, Isaac finds a trapdoor in his room and he flings it open and hurls himself to safety, what he believes to be safety of the basement. And that's where the game actually starts. And you realize that the basement is this just ever expanding, randomly generated dungeon, essentially, with a lot of different enemies and power ups and all that kind of stuff. But the storyline is just essentially your mom's trying to kill you because she believes God is talking to her. So that's the storyline. Do you have anything to add, Tom?
no, that pretty much nails it. Like Sean said, it's very loosely based on the Binding of Isaac tale from the Bible, so that's kind of cool. But keep in mind, this is like a very loose retelling of it, just to make a cool kind of story of it.
I
And
do. Oh, sorry. You go.
yeah, no, it's pretty cool that he kind of chose that for like a game though, because a lot of people probably wouldn't choose that. And just touching into that a little bit, that is exactly why Nintendo did not allow it onto the 3DS.
Yeah.
Originally there was going to be a port of this game put into 3DS, but because it fell through because of all the kind of religion stuff it kind of had going for it in the game, it kind of fell through for those reasons. They said it was, I think they said it was other reasons, but I mean, it all boiled down to that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Nintendo was like, no religion.
and it's Nintendo, I get it.
Yeah.
Like, they want
Yeah.
to
They got a
cater to
brand.
every, kid whatsoever. So I get it.
That hits another part of this that I want to, it's more of a disclaimer that I do want to mention before we dive super deep into this game, is that if you are someone that is sensitive to religious stuff or child death or stuff like that, this is not the game for you. Come back to a different episode.
Yeah.
But like that's a huge aspect of this game that needs to be stated, is that it is incredibly dark. It may look cartoony and cutesy and a little messed up, but it's really dark.
Yeah.
So
There's not a good ending in this game, just so you guys fucking know. Like, really.
there's not. And that's your disclaimer. If you are sensitive to those things, you have been warned, and if you choose to continue, it's not on us. Not no, that is the Block Bros official disclaimer. Fuck you. With that being said, let's move into graphics and art.
Graphics and art.
I'm gonna get it pulled up on screen like I always do, and you can talk about it, Tom, while I do that.
Yeah. I really like the look of Binding of Isaac. It's very simple yet cute. It looks like someone 2D kind of animated a Funko Pop for Isaac, in a way. I don't want to describe it like that, it's kind of like the simple stick people kind of too. But I just, it's that classic big-headed, nice kind of look, but what it gets across is like it feels like a kid kind of drew this, you know what I mean? Like that's I guess not Funko-y. Sorry, I even compared it to that. But
I mean, like, well,
like
it kind of I get what you're saying because it's Funko. Because like Isaac himself looks like a Funko. Like the
yeah,
character you play is the naked child, which might get us flagged for just saying that. But he's got a giant head and a very small like Funko body. Like that's what it looks like. That's
yeah,
truly a good description. So don't be hard on yourself about that.
right. But yeah, I really like it because this straight up looks like kind of like a kid's drawing would be like just turned into a video game, just a little bit more advanced from a top down perspective. So there's a lot to love just in that regard, you know.
Definitely. I think what makes me just like so in love with this game is the simplicity of it. It's everything is easily identifiable. Like you see rocks, you know they're rocks. You see the dungeon, you know they're dungeon. You see an enemy, you know it's an enemy. Like it's everything is so easily accessible. Like nothing is complicated. Nothing is hard to understand what it is. From graphic standpoint, there are complicated things in the game, obviously, but from a graphic standpoint, you know what everything is. You know what a chest is. You know what a bomb is. You know what an enemy is. And I think that the simplicity of it really is why people love it so much. Because if you think about it, this game was originally developed for play in a browser. It was developed in a Flash player. So it keeps that old timey like 2000s s simplicity that you get from Flash games, but yet it's really accessible and clean looking at the same time.
Yeah, like it is a really nice looking game. You know, like everything is nice and smooth, you know. Nothing coming at you like is going to be too crazy that you can't like keep moving around and keep dodging everything. Like it does a very nice job drawing your eyes where it needs to be, you know, like on everything on screen, which is really nice, you know.
I also like the unique look of all the enemies, all the characters, and we'll get into more about like other shit that changes how you look at the game as well. But like how Isaac himself looks, how your power ups look, how the items look, everything has a really cool, unique feel to it. Every enemy looks different, including like some of them look different when you hit them. Like they go from looking like something to looking like something else when you hit them. But also everything looks terrifying. And my favorite part of how things look is that Isaac is literally crying the entire time and just looks terrified. And you can
Yeah.
see the terror.
Yeah, your tears are literally your weapon in this game. So it's pretty cool that like I don't know, I've never used tears as bullets before, but apparently you're trying that hard. Another thing I really like when you are getting power ups and that kind of thing is you're constantly changing the look of Isaac. And like sometimes like he just cries so fucking intense. It's basically like Deku from My Hero Academia level of tears, you know? So
Except for some reason, I don't hate him. Fucking Deku.
Deku.
But no, the art itself. I think it's almost as identifiable as its own brand. Like when people think of the Binding of Isaac, they think of the art style because it really is an identifiable thing. Like there's not a lot of other games that have the same kind of like weird, fucked up doodle aspect that Binding of Isaac has.
Mm-hmm.
It's very unique in its concepts and the way that it presents itself. And I think that's another reason why it's such a classic for
Yeah.
most people, anyways.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else to add about art?
No, honestly, like it's a really good like honestly it's one of those games like once you see it and once you hear us talk about it, you're gonna be like, oh, that all fucking makes sense so easily. Like it's just I just play this game just for the sheer looks alone. It's just so cute to and scary at the
Cute.
same time. Yeah, it's cute and morbid, you know, it's perfect, you know. That's what I
I
like,
think
you know.
I think another thing that I think is just really well done about it is the background is just so fucking simple. Like
Yeah.
just so ridiculously simple. It looks like a room. Every room is separate. Like you go into one room, you're in that room until you go to the next room. And that room is your entire screen. And it's literally like the most simple basic background with something in the room. Or nothing in the room, you know, depending on where you go. But like it's very, very simple. And I love that about it. And every level, quote unquote, because you descend levels in this game has a different like background feel to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Well, I just like it. I love the art in this game. I think it's very definable. I haven't seen a lot of art like it.
No, honestly no one I mean, I don't think anyone has done that style because everyone wants to stand out from Binding of Isaac in their own way because no one wants to feel like they copied, especially such an OG. Like it'd be hard to kind of bite off of this, you know.
When did this game even come? I don't think we mentioned when it came out, did we?
Originally, I'm not sure. I know Rebirth came out in 2014, which was already 8 years ago, so probably a few years before that. Let
The
me,
initial Binding of Isaac came out September 28th, 2011, and then Rebirth came out 2014, just like you said, yeah.
yeah, yeah, that's it's nuts. Like this game is 11 years old. Honestly, talking about that, like weird.
Wait, so I just found this out. Sorry, is the guy who made this? Did he also make Cult of the Lamb?
I'm not sure,
Because
honestly.
I just sorry, this is like totally random. We're totally getting off track, but I googled Binding of Isaac release date, and it has all the games, and then at the end it has Cult of the Lamb. So I don't know if that's like a mistake on Google's part, or if Cult of the Lamb is made by the same people. But I mean, it's made by Devolver, but I don't know. Anyways, that's wild. I don't know. They have similar art styles. Threw me through a loop there. Anyways, let's talk about sounds and music.
Sounds and music.
I think that the sounds and music in this game are really, really, really well done, especially for the time period that it was made. I mean, 2011, and the sounds are this good for this game. Especially like I like to compare it to. I mean, I grew up in the era of Flash games. Flash games were a huge part of my life, and this game really sells like the soundtracks that Flash games had. It's really, really well done, in my opinion. The actual feel of the music itself is like chaotic and crazy and scary and goes with the theme of whatever you're fighting or whatever you're doing in the game. And I think that they just did an immaculate, amazing job with the sounds and music in this game.
Yeah, like it has been a long time since I've played this game. Like it's been like, 6, maybe 7-ish years. So, but I remember playing and I really like the music in this game. It keeps you engaged and in the moment and really like matches the tempo that the game goes for. So,
Yeah, it's just an overall really, really well designed sound. Even it's something as simple as the voice acting in the beginning of the game, where it's like telling you the story, is like it's corny, but it's like corny in a fun way. It sounds like very like one dude just did it, and it sounds funny. Like you watch it, and you're I mean, it's described to you in pictures, like drawing, like children's drawings. So like even the corny voice acting in the beginning fits the feel of the game. I think that they had a theme, and they nailed it all the way through with the art and the sound of this game.
yeah.
And of course, guys, if you ever want to see what we're talking about, we are a live podcast, so you can come by on Facebook, Twitch, or YouTube every Tuesday around 10:30, 11 Central Standard Time. And you can see what we look like. We look cute, and also the game we're talking about if you ever are curious and want to follow along. But yeah, no, I think that the sound design is just really well done. I don't think we got any notes about who actually exclusively did the sounds. I don't know if there was. Oh yeah, here we go. There was a composer.
Yeah.
Danny, and I'm gonna fuck up the last name. Baranowski.
Yeah. I think that's how you say it. Yeah.
Well, congratulations, Danny. You killed it. You composed an amazing album for an amazing game.
Yeah. You definitely did a kick-ass job, bro.
Do you got anything else to add for sounds and music, team?
Yeah, I think that pretty much wraps up my thoughts on it too. So
I'm killing it tonight. I'm on it. I am focused.
yeah,
I took a nap before this, full disclosure. So I am
that nap energy.
wide awake. Let's go on to features and content.
Features and content.
Woo! All right. So if you're new here, features and content is where we throw everything that doesn't fit specifically in one category or another. It's the meat and potatoes, and it's just like us talking about the game essentially. So I've kind of been running the show here, so I'm gonna let you pick what you want to talk about first for features and content.
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, like I think like it's just this is my first experience with a game, honestly, when I started playing this like 7 years ago, like 8, whenever it came out. It was like I played the Rebirth right when that came out. I never played the original. It was the first game where death was permanent to me, right? Like fucking like I mean, it was that way in other games before, like NES and SNES era when I was like a kid, but it was so like hard to get reused to that. But it just made it so addicting, like, and the level of like, randomness just made you keep wanting more, even though this game is hard as fucking hell, especially like it no remorse doesn't hold your hand. Like you hit like once and you're just fucked. But
Definitely. I feel like there was multiple things you talked about there, so I'm going to kind of just break it apart and talk about it as well.
yeah,
We talked about the no death aspect, and that is a staple in the roguelike community. And while that is a staple, a lot of that is because of this game. Like this was kind of a pioneer with the like we were talking about, one of the first games to actually have that kind of structure where if you die, you get nothing. You get the experience that you played. Like that is all you get, and you get to play again. And I think that for a lot of people that's really, really a turnoff. For me, I love that shit. I love the idea that nothing is permanent in this game and I can just die and have to play again and start over fully, because it allows me to frequently tell myself, oh fuck, well just one more run. And then it's 6 hours later and I'm seething at my computer.
right,
And
yeah,
it's 4 a.m. and I hear birds chirping. It's one of those kind of games where you get lost in the one more run idea and it never ends. And I think that's because of the no death, or the losing everything on death, the roguelike features. And then you also talked about the randomness feature, which is a huge thing that I wanted to cover, because I think that's the part where that's going to be the defining part. That's going to be the part where people will either say, I fucking love this game, or I absolutely hate this game. There is no fucking rhyme or reason for anything in this game. You are completely randomized in every single aspect. Some runs are going to be completely amazing. You're going to have the best weapons, the best power-ups. You're going to be slinging shit, going through, killing everything, no problem. And then the next run, you're going to get like the worst fucking power-ups and die in the first fucking boss fight.
yeah. Like seriously, the power. There's so many things that range in every playthrough that you're either going to do shit or you're going to do like amazing. Literally, there's occasional runs like with the randomness that it'll throw you into a huge room right away. And you're just getting swarmed with fucking enemies, and it's just, oh my god. I'm like, how the fuck did I get this shit? You know, in the
Yeah, it's
randomness.
the random is, and that's why I think that that's one of those things, because it's either the dungeons are random, the fucking power ups are random, the your add-ons are random, like the bosses are even random. There's no, like, usually when there is this amount of randomness, the bosses usually aren't random. Like that's something that I think throws people through a loop the most, is that you can get like a super hard boss on your first boss, or you can get like a super easy one, but it's completely random. Like the game, like we've been saying the whole time, that's kind of the go-to draw for me for this game. I love the chaotic energy. I feed off of it. I love games like this, and specifically this one does it just. It's like chef's kiss for me. Their
Right.
absolute randomness is perfect, and that's why I've been playing it so much recently. Is like I just needed something where it wasn't planned, and that kind of fit. With that being said, I think it's a good time to move into the items, because the items are probably both the best and worst part of this game. I'm gonna say that up front.
Yeah, speaking of randomness, like you just never know the item you'll get. So
And it also adds into another part of this that we need to talk about, because like we said, this game got remade in 2014. I've been playing the original, and the original has like 2 DLCs, and then the new version, Rebirth, has like 3 DLCs. So when we say like facts about the game, like we usually do, it's kind of hard to tell which one they're from. So I'm going off of what's on the wiki here. There in this game, after all the DLCs, there is 719 unique items.
yeah,
So when we say randomness and no 2 runs are ever going to be the same, that is very real. That is 100% very real. Even
yeah,
base game without I've been playing the base game with no DLC, and I still haven't had any runs that are similar yet. So like with the DLC and the new game, like obviously it's a lot more, but 719 is so fucking ridiculous, and all of them are unique.
Yeah, it's like crazy. You'll get, your base kind of power ups that like help, with your damage buffs, bigger tiers or like ones that prevent damage from traps and stuff. But like then you'll get like crazy out there ones like Shoop da Whoop was fucking awesome, which like shoots lasers out of your mouth. Like that one was fucking nuts. Like
Or
oh
like the one that turns you into a demon for like some reason, and you're just like super overpowered for a minute, like out of
yeah.
nowhere.
What about Game
I
Kid where it turns you literally into Pac-Man? Like okay.
there, and I think that really shows like, and that's just like part of this game that really shows itself to be why this is such a staple for so many people, why it's such a cult classic, is that literally there is so many unique things with this game. And the other part, the part where I say that it's one of the best things about this game and one of the worst things about this game, is because this game doesn't fucking hold your hand, and it doesn't tell you what any of the things do.
No.
So like most people complain because they're like, I don't know what any of this does. Like I gotta have the wiki open, and every time I get a new item, I gotta go look for it. Or you could get the brave pioneer spirit and just try it and see what happens, like I do. But that also burns you a lot more because some things are only like one use items, and then it'll just burn it trying to figure out what it does.
Yeah.
I really enjoy this game because it doesn't hold your hand, it doesn't tell you anything, and it's completely random. Those are all my favorite parts about it for sure. But it also, I understand, could probably be the reason that people hate this game.
I don't know. I love any kind of game that is a roguelike that just throws like the randomness at you. It just makes you want to play it more, Like honestly.
I think it ups replayability by far. Like I think that's what makes this game so replayable, is that no two runs are the same, and also you don't know what the fuck you have half the time.
Yeah. Like as much as there's buffs too, there's also debuffs in this game, like curses, like along with items that
We
like
can talk about curses.
yeah, like so you'll also get like ones that here's one of my favorite. Hide the health bar from you, so you have no idea literally what health you have, or all the items on the map, so you have no idea what you're picking up. Like you already sometimes don't know what the ability does quite yet. But like then you literally have no idea what the hell you're doing. And like there's plenty beyond that just lower your stats, but I think like those crazy random ones, I'm like, okay, I think I had like 2 or 3 health, and I'm trying to keep track in my head while getting shot at from like 12 different sides. It's
It's rude. It's just rude. Curses are definitely rude, and the fact that they're completely random too and can just happen. Like they can just happen. There's no rhyme or reason for it. Sometimes it'll be like the game's like, oh hey, you're cursed.
yeah.
Like it's just
You
like the biggest fuck you, and I love it.
Yeah, it's like it's literally from nothing too. You just have a random chance of getting it on a floor. Like you'll just load in. It'll be like, "Hey, you're cursed."
Sorry, bud. Fuck
Like
you.
what?
You're cursed.
Yeah, just a random percent chance. It didn't even list the percent chance you have. It just said you have a chance. So like, fuck, dude. Like what?
That sucks. That fucking sucks. God damn it.
At
But
least
then you
it
just gotta
only
live with it.
lasts like the floor, but still, like that whole floor just feels like fucking
Bad.
yeah. Feels so much harder just based on one random tiny little thing. Like
I think another thing that is really cool about this game. Well, not really cool. I don't know. It's in between really cool and really frustrating. Is just the sheer difficulty of this game as well.
mm,
Like it is an incredibly hard game. Like we've been talking about, they don't hold your hand with anything, and that includes the fact that you probably are going to get fucked up a lot.
yeah. I I will say like this is my first time that I played like such a hard game like this. I will say, like, I know we've talked about Gungeon before. Gungeon is harder than this game. Like, by far, in my mind, Gungeon is just harder with their sheer level of shit they throw at you in each room. But this was my first experience that it was like, oh, you have like 3 hits of health, or you're fucking dead. Like,
Yeah, and I mean, I was gonna mention Gungeon later when we talk about games that it reminds us of, but for sure, I will say that Gungeon is harder, mostly because Gungeon is a bullet hell. Gungeon is a bullet hell. Like they throw literally everything and the kitchen sink at you. Where this game, it is hard and it is difficult, but it was like the first adaptation of what would become bullet hells. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And I think that makes it in its own right. Like they are comparable, but at the same time they're not because this came so far before Gungeon.
Yeah, this was like, like Gungeon definitely got inspiration from this game. Like a lot of games that we've even talked about previously on this channel will have inspiration from this game. Like a lot of
yeah,
roguelike games can attribute it to Binding of Isaac.
yeah, we couldn't skip this game because it literally is the, like we said, the revival of roguelite. Like it was the start, the biggest draw for a lot of our favorite games, I think. So I couldn't skip this game if I tried.
Yeah. I will say
um
like this game is like difficult also in the regard of like a lot of rogue games that we're used to nowadays do have like a dodge button. You have no fucking dodge in this game. So you're constantly having to shuffle around like without any invincibility frames like ever. Like
yeah, I mean it was born out of Flash, so like invincibility frames who?
yeah. Yeah,
It's-
to give you an idea, this dude actually did make this game in Adobe Flash, by the way. So like I don't
that's
fuck
crazy.
yeah, I'm like, how the fuck did he make this in Adobe Flash? Like
And that it stood the test of time and still like is this playable and looks this good. Like you know what I mean? Like it is a testament to older indie games still holding up. If you
yeah.
make something good enough, it'll hold up through the test of time. Especially because it also got remade. I'm personally talking about. I'm playing like the OG Binding of Isaac. I'm not even playing the rebirth, and I still think it's hella fun. And it came out in what 2011. That was literally over a decade ago, and I'm just loving it. Like I'm having the best time I've had with a game in a while, to be honest. So it really stood the test of time. It is a timeless game because of its mechanics and just like how it's put together. um Another big thing that I wanted to talk about was this game could have stopped with having 700 items. It could have stopped with having curses. It could have stopped with having power-ups and add-ons, but it doesn't. And that's what makes it like that's the thing that it's like they did everything. They didn't need to do this. They're giving this to you because they wanted to. And what I'm trying to get at is not only does all of these things exist in the game, and that they're unique and look unique, when you attach things to Isaac, he changes as well.
Yeah.
So the little crying naked boy that you start the game as is not how you're gonna look when you die. And I think that that's a really cool feature too. Is like it really showcases the art and the inspiration and the originality behind a crazy, already intricate, crazy game with a lot going on, and that it also changes how you look as a character as well.
Yeah. I really love honestly the changes that get made too throughout the entirety of playthroughs. It's really cool to look at every single time because you never look the same, just like every run isn't the same. So
Dev, I love that for Isaac. Like sometimes he could look like a zombie, sometimes he could have shit on his head. Like it's but I mean shit, I mean literal poop, like poop on his head.
yeah.
So like it's just like one of those things where there's a lot of creativity. That was a bad example for saying there's a lot of creativity, but there's a lot of creativity in the game itself, and they did a really good job of making things super original and going above and beyond with what they were trying to produce.
Yeah. On top of just like, Isaac looking different, there's also like, all those different characters as well, pretty much that you can unlock. I think there's how many, like seven or yeah,
I think it
seven of
said
them. Yeah.
I think overall expansions. I thought it was 13, but I don't know. I could be
Yeah.
wrong.
Yeah, maybe with expansions it's more nowadays, but it's each one is really cool in their own look and they even look crazier the more you level up and stuff, but it's really cool that each one has their own attributes like, like items get you different attributes. This is basically like starting wise though, like how like each individual character will have like their own like stats. It almost adds in like that very minor RPG element. You know what I'm talking about? It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah. It's like you choose a different starter and you get better or worse stats and or a different run through based on who you choose. It's totally unique and interesting. And also you have to work to unlock them too. So it adds a replayability feature to the game as well.
yeah, like, yeah, they range from looking just like another like kid to looking like a straight up demon you can play as to um I don't know. Now looking at just characters, I see one called the Lost, and he looks kind of like a spirit, but also kind of looks like a sperm. So, um,
Damn, Tom, you didn't have to mention that. He's very self conscious about that shit.
well, sorry,
It's his own
bro.
faute.
Yeah,
Don't
some
look like a
makeup or
sperm
something.
on the podcast. Goddamn. And then like we're gonna keep talking about the game. Like that's what we're here for. There is a lot of components to the game, and we're not gonna go fully in depth into all of them. But there is a couple other things I think we should cover, and that includes that there is like little like machines in the game. Like
Yeah,
slot machines or fortune telling machines or blood donation machines. There's machines. There's a lot of machines, and they do
yeah,
various things, and they're all also really cool and unique. And that's really what I wanted to say about machines, unless you had something to add.
yeah. No, that's just like another mechanic that they added into this game. That's like another addition of like randomness. You know, there's like crane machines, and then there's also like games you can play. Like they have that classic like, shuffle game that you're used to. Where it shuffles like three things around, and you get what's in there. So that's pretty cool that they have like all that extra, just like another level of randomness. So that's pretty cool that they added that as well.
Definitely, it's like another thing that'll keep you playing, like just another thing. And I think that's the difference between this and like yeah, there's not as much bullet hell like when you talk about like dungeon. There's not as much bullet hell, but the level of things that are going on in this game make up for the lack of bullet hell. But there are also crazy amounts of enemies. Each one is different, and there's also like other shit. Like there's shopkeepers. There's shops you can go to buy things. There's coin collection. There's hidden rooms. There's beggars that give
Yeah.
you things if you give them money. Like I'm just trying to branch over a couple things. The list is fucking massive for how much shit is actually in this game.
Yeah, like it's really cool, like because you'll think you see it all, but you never really do in this game, which is awesome. Like I love like running across the beggars and giving them money, or the devil beggars sometimes, and trying to fill up their cups, like because it just gives you additional shit to fuck with. It's so worth it.
Definitely. And I think I was watching a review of this because I tend to watch reviews of games before we do reviews as well. And like one of the guys was talking, he's like, I have 300 hours in this game. And I was playing it the other day and I came across something I never saw before. And like that's insane. That's an insane thing to think about is that like for a game that was developed in Flash in 2011
Yeah.
to have this much stuff and that is with all the expansions and all the DLC. I'm not ignoring that. But to even have that much content out of this is insane.
For a game that was made in a week, nonetheless, also, just so yeah.
Yeah, and the base obviously not like
Yeah,
the
not
DLC.
like
Yeah.
everything with the DLC and stuff, but the original
It just
game.
shows it really shows really what indie games are about to me. It really just like this game embodies everything that I love about indie games and everything that when I think of a classic indie game that I could just like tell someone to pick up and play, like this is exactly what I would tell someone to do. And I will get into that later when we talk about recommendations and stuff. But like that's kind of like why I love it so much is that it is the embodiment of indie games.
Yeah, like it adds so much stuff, like not just in the game, but it's like outside. Even if you're looking for different things to do, like you can even switch up the randomness more. There's different game modes, like not just the base game, but there's like greed mode. There's like a hard mode. There's co-op in this game now.
Yeah,
There's
co-op was something I wanted to try. That's the next thing that I was really interested in getting it. Sorry. Continue.
Yeah. No, it's all good. There's so much. Like there's daily challenges in this game. There's like victory laps where you get to like start with all your items like that you had after like a room. There's like rerun options. There's so much like outside of just the base game that keeps the randomness going like on. It's fucking awesome, you know?
It's honestly just nutty. Like it's just so much stuff, and I think that that's why I don't think I'll ever be bored of this game. I don't think that I'd be capable of being bored of this game. Honestly, like I truly feel that way, and I feel like I think that about like Gungeon, and then I play Gungeon for 3 hours, and I'm like, nah, all right, whatever. But like I can play this, like I shit you not, I played it for like 7 hours the other night, and I was just like, I didn't even notice. I was just so into it.
Yeah.
And I wasn't even streaming. Like that was like literally just me playing it by myself in a dark room, like not even talking to anybody.
Yeah.
Because I'm a very like social gamer, especially as a streamer. I'm a very social person. I like to play games where I have to talk to other people in real life, and this like is one of the few games that I can just like play and not have to worry or like even think about it. It's just I love it so much.
Yeah, it's really nice that every single time you can play this game, you kind of know what you're getting into, but at the same time, you're gonna get a fresh experience every time. You know.
Yeah, it's always fresh, it's always new, and I think that's what we're really trying to drive home without beating a dead Isaac around.
It's like you know what a Coke tastes like, but you know every time you open that fresh can of Coke, you know, fucking rewarding.
There might be poison in it. I don't know.
Right. Not sponsored by Coke.
Yeah, never sponsored by Coke. Coke will never reach out to us. We burn that bridge. I'm just gonna leave it at that. But yeah, I don't know. Is there anything else you want to add into features and content? I feel like we really, I mean, there's just a lot. It's just a lot, man. But in the
Yeah,
best possible way.
I was gonna say there's some things we didn't touch on, but most of it's like fine because I want people just to figure out how much in depth more of this shit goes. But one thing I did want to mention is there's also like seeds in this game that like it's kind of cool to fuck with because there's like a manual character input, right? That you can like basically because this game like what it runs on is seeds. So that's like a random string of characters that basically determine level selection, item selection, where everything is, like blah blah blah. And if you input one and you copy that, right, you can do the same run over and over again. So say you really like a seed setup and you just want to copy it and you can run that replay just sometimes. And that's like, you know, it's cool that this game is random, but it also is cool that it has like that feature to kind of take it out if you really like to run you went on, or if you want to experience like one of your friends runs they went on or something like that. That's another really cool thing that they did that I actually don't see in indie games, that you can manually input seeds like that, you know.
Definitely. I think the only other game I can think of off the top of my head that you can input seeds in is what is that one game? The fuck is the one game everyone tries to get me to play and I just have no interest in? The Viking building one.
Oh, Valheim or whatever.
Yeah, you can do that in Valheim too. You can get like, but that's for the map specifically. But yeah, no. In this, I think that is just a new, another level, or not a new, because this is an older game. Another level of something that you can give to other people, like something that is community based, that you can be like, I went on this crazy run, here's the seed, like somebody please play this and let me know what you think. You know what I mean? Like it is one of those extra things that makes the game fun and unique, and also gives community building,
Yeah,
like organically.
yeah, the community behind this game is still so like strong. Like for a decade old indie game, that's fucking super impressive.
Definitely, any game that can. People are always talking about how like games today, like they don't hold up after a couple years or blah 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 blah, and they'll be like, the only game that still exists from a decade ago is RuneScape. Like I keep seeing posts like that, or like WoW, and I'm like, dude, like people forget about indie games too much. That's what this podcast is about, and not to get on a huge rant, but that's what this podcast is about. Is that there are so many other games that are so good that you are not thinking about, and this is one of the best, in my opinion, indie games. I love this game. Truly.
Yeah. In my mind, indie games more withstand like a test of time because, in a sense, in trying to keep up with the times, you're trying to like set a trend that's just like your own thing, and you're trying to attract people that are like minded like you to your own thing, and that's what helps it withstand that test of time. That close bond to like a game, that it's not like you're ongoing looking for that next big thing. Like you're trying to find a game that's super personal, and it's really cool. And that's kind of why I love indie games in general.
Yeah, I mean, indie games create a moment in time that that just exists. Like they are their own legacy, and I think that is, and Binding of Isaac is a legacy. It's a cult classic. People fucking love this game for a reason, and it created its own legacy because it's so good, And you're not gonna get that with like Apex Legends. Like, okay, wow, you're a shooter game, but like, where's the actual love 20 years from now? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't see it being that loved, Otherwise,
No.
Titanfall 2 would still be as popular as it was when it came out.
Right. Man.
Not to shit on Apex Legends, goddamn.
But
no, it's not a bad game. It's
no,
okay.
it's
okay.
not. It's
okay.
Yeah. It still makes good content. I'll put it out there. I just stopped playing like forever ago, honestly.
Yeah, I went back to it a while ago and I was like, it's still not my thing. So, unfortunately, but this isn't a podcast about Apex Legends. This is a podcast about indie games. I think that's what we're not being paid to do. So,
right.
I think that one of the, unless you have anything else you want to cover, one of the last things I want to cover in features and content is the overall like darkness of this game. We kind of covered it in the beginning where we talked about like, oh yeah, like here's a content warning that it's dark. But this game, it has like a lot of like, it deals with religious trauma, and it deals with abuse, and it deals with like fucked up shit. And I think that's also just like another part of the nuance that is really interesting, that they didn't have to add any of that. They could have just made like a cool dungeon game like this, but they really went the extra mile to add some fucking trauma to it.
Yeah, they touch on, like, a lot of people would not be ballsy enough to take on religious kind of things in games, like relate things to biblical, especially something like the Binding of Isaac tale, or like any, just pick a tale in the Bible that relates to killing someone because God kind of told you to. Not to point out things in the Bible, but this game, like, to pick that, like, that was hardcore to do. Like, there's a lot of things it could have chosen, and to be like, yeah, let's choose Binding of Isaac. That's whoa.
Yeah, and even just like there's other parts in the game that just talk about like like religious trauma in general, like where the mom is just like really fucked up because of religion. Like they not a lot of games touch on that in a way that is so accessible, and yet so like you know what this game is about when you play it. You know what I mean? Like there's no escaping it. They tell you exactly what it's about, and I think that it's very accessible and also tells a really clear tale, and also does it in a way that's unique.
Yeah, like it's super harsh, and to use like such a cute hand drawn aspect is kind of like, and still have everything come across so dark, is kind of morbid in its own right.
Definitely. I think that's why I think that's the reason I'm saying that it's so accessible, is because like it comes across as just like a cute game that you could like give your kid, but then like if you like actually look at what the game is about, it's pretty fucked. It's just overall a really fucked up story. So I love that for it. I love that they didn't shy away from it, and fuck you Nintendo for not picking it up to make it more widely available. It did fine on its own, but
I think it is on Switch now, so they changed their mind apparently.
They saw the money and they were like, "What were we talking about? Religion? Whatever, just like give us more money."
Yeah, they're like, whatever, because Switch is like, we have to be the indie king platformer. Like, that's our goal.
That's the thing,
much.
Yeah.
I mean, it worked until like the Steam Deck kind of came around recently, and I think that's
still
over.
Yeah, it's kind of the testing phase right now. I guess we'll see where that ends up. I actually don't know anyone that has one, so I haven't even. That's a total side tangent, but
I have seen one person with it, and it does seem pretty baller. Not gonna lie, like
Yeah, I was
But
gonna get one for Adia, but I don't know if she actually would be interested in it. Like
yeah,
we were talking about it because like you can hook it up like a computer too. Like you can put a monitor on it and put like a keyboard on it, and it can run like games like a computer as well. So
yep.
like I don't know, but we'll
Plus, it's
see.
like your whole Steam library on the go too. So like
That's a
that's
dangerous thought.
that's that's really nice, like just the thought of that, like you could just bring your Steam library anywhere. Like
Yeah, I'm not saying I wouldn't get one, especially. I mean, I don't really go anywhere, but like in the future, if I start going more places, that would be pretty nice because with people like us, or me, or I don't know how many you have, but I have like 400, 500 Steam games, and most of them I've never even touched. So it'd be pretty nice to be able to
yeah,
jump on and play that when I'm just like doing something at at a family function or some shit.
yeah, like it's the like indie games like really strive from any kind of on the go platform like that, especially ones you can like the Switch style. That's just what I'm gonna call it because the Switch did it
Yeah, it
first.
was revolutionary. Yeah, yeah. Don't get me wrong, it was. I'm not shitting on the Switch in any means. By the way, this was not an ad for either the Switch or a Steam Deck. We were just talking about it. Sorry.
Yeah, it's what I play a lot of indie games on, just because I'm on the go a lot. So that's why I bring stuff up like that, just for
Damn, you're
reference.
bragging that you get to go places.
Well, yeah, it works a lot. Like my Nintendo does come in definite handy,
I
for
straight up don't leave my house for like weeks at a time right now. So
right. Oh man,
I went
yeah,
outside for the first time in like 2 weeks yesterday, and I was like, "Oh shit, there's snow outside."
yeah, yeah. It's almost it's pretty much at the staying point here where it's just not gonna go away. Like it reached 40 degrees today, and all the snow didn't go away, and I was like, "Fuck, nope,
We're in it. We're
we're
in
in
it.
it." Yep. Hey,
Well, did you?
40 degrees felt warm today, just so
It was
y'all know.
nice. Yeah, I had
Yeah,
my windows open, bro.
yeah,
It was nice.
yeah. It's always weird when you hit like the part of Minnesota where like upper 30s feels like really good. Like you're standing outside in shorts and you're like, so this feels good
Whew.
now. Okay.
You got some flip flops on, like.
Yeah. I like that point. Not on the way down when you're like, fuck, when it gets like to like 40, when it used to be like 90, but like when it's like 20 and then it goes up to like 40, yeah, it feels like fucking vacation here.
It's
Like,
amazing. Yeah. Did you have anything else to add in features and content, or do you think we nailed most of it?
yeah, I think we got it pretty much good. Like, I mean, there's so much randomness to talk about in this game that's kind of hard to see it all.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. It's hard to
I
fit
could
it into
spend an
an
hour
hour
just
podcast. Yeah.
literally. Hey, do you want to hear me list off every item in the game for an hour? Like, I could do that for y'all. Like,
Yeah, I think we try to do that with other games, and like I think this is also like I mean we're a learning, growing podcast. This is episode 16. When we talked about Gungeon, for instance, in like episode 4, we probably spent like an hour just on the items. So I feel like us just like breezing past that and really just saying like there's a lot and they do crazy things, like check them out, is a big step in the right direction for personal development for the podcast as well. Just throwing it out there.
yeah.
um with that being said, let's move on to movement and controls.
Movement and controls.
I think that the easiest way to describe movement and controls in this game is that it's a twin stick shooter. Like
Yeah.
it's a classic twin stick shooter. Which, if you guys don't know what that is, imagine an Xbox controller, if you will, or any kind of controller. You got two sticks. You aim and move.
It just, yeah.
Twin sticks. You can hear me doing it here. I'll even get
Right.
some more on there for you. I really don't have any other way to describe it. The funny thing is, because I'm playing the OG original one, and I'm playing on my computer, it doesn't have an easy way to set up a controller. So I'm playing it with mouse and keyboard.
Oof.
And I will say it's not the best with mouse and keyboard. It's a lot harder than I imagine it would be with twin stick or
That
with
sounds,
any kind of controller.
yeah, that sounds absolutely awful. Like,
It's not the best, but it's not bad either. Like you aim with your mouse or you aim with your I don't remember how you do it. It's like really weird. It's different compared to normal shooters or normal top down stuff. But I'm making it work. It's less fluid than I would imagine it is with a controller. How do you feel it is with a controller?
I love it with like a controller. Like I play any twin stick shooter with a controller though. Like I couldn't imagine like playing like Gungeon with a fucking mouse and keyboard. Like I would
play Guns with a mouse and keyboard too.
Dude, Jesus Christ. Did you ever try it with a controller?
Yeah, I prefer it with a mouse and keyboard, bro.
I can't believe that. That's amazing. Like
I'm fucking horrible, I know.
like
But yeah, no, I'm
pretty much impressed though, honestly. That's
yeah, you watch me play and you're like, and then you realize I'm playing with a mouse and keyboard and they're like, oh wait, what?
Dude, you should just play the game and like fucking stream your fucking hands. Like people are gonna be like, this guy fucking playing Gungeon with a mouse and keyboard? Like fucking
I mean, there's not like a lot of games that I don't play. The only games I don't play with a mouse and keyboard are like platformers. Platformers are my one controller, or driving games. The one controller or two controller games are driving and mouse and platformers.
fighting games.
Shooters. No, fighting games usually I use mouse and keyboard too.
Impressive. I can see it though, kind of, in a way.
Yeah. It's I don't know. It's a habit. Oh, something we totally forgot to cover. I don't know how important it is, and also it's kind of a spoiler. So if you don't want any spoilers, don't listen for the next minute. Here's your warning. The whole point of this game is to what you believe to do is to not die to mom or to kill mom, and then when you kill mom, the game doesn't end, and there's a lot more.
Yeah.
When you kill mom, it's definitely not over, and I think that is a crazy thing that I didn't see coming.
Yeah, we won't spoil too much of the ending for you.
No, but that was my one little spoiler that I thought I'd throw in, because I didn't see it coming and it threw me through a loop, and it was crazy cool to see.
Yeah, I will say there's instead of 6 levels, there's 8 levels, and then instead of 8 levels, there is an optional 9th level where they really got ballsy on who you took on for level 9. I will fucking say, like, I'm like, wow, as if you couldn't get like more fucked up. Let's take on
go,
this final bias. Like, goddamn.
Definitely. I respect it. I honestly respect them more than I think most developers for that.
Right.
All right. Well, let's move into closing thoughts.
Closing thoughts.
All right. Well, with closing thoughts, Tom, where do you put this on a replayability like scale?
I mean, solidly, like, this game is like a 10 replayability, like, wise. I mean, you can play this game over and over and over again, and you're never gonna get the same thing, like, pretty much ever. Unless, like I said, you type in the same seed that you want, like, you can endlessly play this game. If you get bored of the base game, there's daily challenges. Like I said, there's all those, like, different kinds of ways to play, like, the game, you know, that it's endlessly begging you to come back. Like,
Definitely.
It's awesome.
When I think of replayability, I think of this game. Like not even a joke. They're the same thing for me because this game is replayability in a nutshell. It is completely random and very difficult. Like, that is the two factors, and has a million things going on. Those are the factors for replayability, and it's a 10 for me for sure. It's the most replayable game I think I've ever played.
Yeah.
Did you have a rage factor with it? Because I know we talk about like fun factor and rage factor. Did you have a rage factor?
Yeah. I mean, you can die quick in this game. Like, one room can fucking kill you. Like, I mean, seriously, you start out most rounds with like 3 hits. I guess it's
3 hearts. Yeah.
But so like that, you got 3 fucking hits, and like at first you're definitely gonna just be bad at this game. You will pick up a lot of tips and tricks just by moving around and being better, but at the same time, like, Jesus Christ, this game is hard as fuck. Like, I put it up there at like a nice 7.5.
Yeah, and then for a fun factor,
like a nice 8.5, 9. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I definitely would give it a 9 for fun, just because I really am enjoying it thoroughly. I might be biased because I'm literally playing it. Like, when we get off tonight, I'll probably end up playing it. Like, right. I'm just really enjoying it right now. So that might be a little biased. If I had to be honest myself, probably like an 8. But 9 right now, at time of recording. And then rage factor, I definitely agree with you that it is relatively high compared to most games, because it's totally random and you can die at any point. You could be doing really well and then just die horribly. So
Yeah.
I would definitely
You'll
give it
probably die
a
to every enemy in this game. So
yeah. Definitely, I give it a 6 or a 7 for rage factor as well, for
yeah.
sure. Do you have a favorite part and a least favorite part of this?
My favorite part is honestly just getting every item and whatnot in this game and seeing what every one you have has to offer. Because, like I said, occasionally you'll get like the same ones and whatnot, but you're gonna experience so many new ones every run and so many new things every run. It's crazy. There's so many secrets in this game, like so many different things that's always gonna pop out of the woodwork. Like you just never know what to expect. It's perfect.
Definitely. Did you have a least favorite?
Like just occasionally when you just start a run and you literally get bombarded by some of the hardest fucking enemies. Or like honestly, sometimes you just reach a new level and everything is just so much harder in this game. Like it's one of those games like I think I'm more used to it now on roguelike, but when I played this game, god damn, I didn't understand. Like I was like, why is everyone thinking this is so great? Why am I dying all the fucking time? Now it's like totally like a staple to me on most games, but at the
At
time,
time of playing, yeah.
yeah, that was just fuck, dude. Like,
Yeah, I think that is true. Like with most people, this was probably like one of their first or only introductions to roguelike, and like they probably had the same interaction as you. So I'm glad you brought that up. Um, I think not to make mine not the same. Mine definitely would probably be the same for favorite, which is the items because they're 719 unique and cool items.
yeah,
That generally is probably everyone's favorite. But I think if I really had to give it like something different, I would say the randomness factor. I'm a sucker for randomness, and I like randomness in all aspects. But like in this game, it's just done so expertly. Honestly, it is completely unfiltered randomness, and I love that for it. There's not a lot of games that offer that, so I respect it more every time I play it. For least favorite, I would have to say, I guess, playing on mouse and keyboard. That it's a little difficult, and this is a personal gripe, that it's a little difficult to find a way to set up the controller on. You have to use like a third-party software to set up the controller on the original game on Steam. So I don't know, like that kind of irks me, but I guess I just live with it. It's hard for me to find something I don't like about this game, so I guess that's my one. Not having a dodge would probably be my second one, I guess, if I had to be more specific about something I don't necessarily love about this game.
yeah,
Dodges feel like a staple in all roguelites, but this is like one of the first, so like obviously they didn't have that yet.
right. This game probably would have honestly been way too easy if it had a dodge mechanic.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
I
I
agree with
probably
that.
would have breezed through it comparatively to like having none, and yeah, because it's just such like a long invincibility frame in like most games that's needed nowadays. Like most of them you'll get like screen clearing effects. This game, though it does occasionally have those, it's a little bit easier to get in those situations that you can dodge without
It's
dodging.
a lot more simple because it's not a bullet hell. Like it's a lot more simple. There's not as many things flying at you at all times. There's still a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
It's still difficult, but it's not as difficult as like where you need a dodge. I think it would be a cool thing to see added in the future, and then they could add more bullet hell stuff as well if they decided to add more shit to this game. That's what I'd
Yeah,
put
if
in. I
they
think.
ever made like any like more sequels to this game and they added a dodge and they added more like crazy elements like that, I think people would probably appreciate that.
Yeah, change it with the times kind of vibe.
Right.
Definitely. Well, where does that leave us? I totally lost my page. There it is. Oh well, I think that's games it reminds you of. Is there any games that reminds you of?
Um
Obviously, there's
yeah.
one, but
Yeah, I mean, I definitely Enter the Gungeon for sure. We already
yeah.
talked about that. But Enter the Gungeon feels like um in a ways like a step up and step down. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like,
It adds and subtracts things. Yeah.
yeah, it adds in more craziness. The rooms are bigger, the enemies are different. The amount of enemies in that are different and hit you is crazy. But like, though it adds like so much, and the dodge mechanic, like we were talking, and the more bullet hell we were talking, it has like 300 different weapons, which is definitely a shitload. But like, to double that and go 700, like, that literally basically means you're never gonna get a similar run, you know?
Yeah, unless you play it for ever and ever and ever and ever.
Yeah, like, that's why I said although it adds, it also subtracts, you know?
Definitely. And along the same lines, I think I would add Nuclear Throne, which is
Yeah.
obviously very similar to Enter the Gungeon, or on
Mhm.
the same lines, Void Ego is the one that I like to throw in as well, because it's basically Enter the Gungeon as well. Like, pretty much,
Yeah.
they're all similar, but they're all similar and have their own unique twists and their own ways. And I think that that's a really important thing. But this was the staple. This is what brought those games into the foreground, was this game. So you got to pay homage to this game for doing that, I think.
Right.
And then, how much would you recommend this game, Tom? And who would you recommend it to?
I mean, I'd probably recommend this like a solid 9 for sure. Like, I mean, I would give it like a pretty much 10 recommendation, but I feel like a lot of people are definitely gonna, like, 1 in 10 are definitely gonna probably not pick it up because of rage and stuff, or it's just not their style of game. But I feel otherwise, like, this is like the OG start of something that you should play just to at least appreciate, if not like play this game over and over again and have it be one of your beloved games. Get an appreciation of where all of everything that we see mostly in the indie world has come from. Like any roguelike you play these days, you can thank basically Binding of Isaac for bringing that style back, you know.
Yeah, definitely. I think that I'm gonna give it, and this is there's specific reasons I'm gonna give it, and I'm gonna explain it. This is a 10 for me. This is a 10 recommendation. Because of the things you said. It is literally one of the best and first roguelike games. Like, it is something that you need to experience. It has its place, and you need to experience it. Because of how much sheer stuff there is in this game is another part that I give it a 10. And the last part, and arguably the most important part, is that this game, for like just the base game, is $6.
Yeah.
Like, that is something I've just been saving. It is $6 to play this game. If you want all of the expansion, I'm talking everything from like the 2014, the original base game, everything, it is $30. That is less than a brand new game, and you'll get way more content out of this than you ever will anything else you're ever going to pay $30 for. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I said, you can play this for 300 hours and never do the same run twice. The amount of content you get for even just the $6. I'm having fun with I got mine for 52 cents one time when it was on sale, and I'm having the most fun I've had with the game in a very long time. So like, that's I think the driving factor. That's the true indie part of this that needs to be expressed, is that it has all of these amazing things for like a really reasonable and good price. Like,
right. Yeah, it's crazy how much you can get out of a game for such little. Like, you can get so much out of just the base game, but with the expansions, like, you know, like, even if you want like a small taste of this game, like, you'll already feel like you already made one lap through the buffet, right? And then you realize there's just like 5 other kinds of buffets they haven't even tried yet. Like, it's like, god damn, so you have to try everything.
love how most of your analogies on the podcast somehow relate to food.
I think I'm just hungry a lot of the time. Like,
I mean, it works, but I think that's just like, that's super important to me, is that because we talked about like last time we couldn't recommend Carrion that much because it was like $20, and like you can get way better games for way less than that. This is an example of that, like where it is an amazing indie game that you can get for $6. Like,
yeah, exactly.
I think it's $6.60 usually. Like, but whatever. They should just made it 666. That would have been too on the nose. Anyways, that I think that pretty much covers it, right? I think we pretty much nailed everything.
Yeah, I think so.
Awesome. Well, hey guys. That was the podcast. I'm trying to figure out how to end this. We don't know what we're doing next week because that's kind of. I think that I kind of like it almost a little more that we don't plan what we do anymore. We just kind of. If you want to come back next week and find out, hell yeah, and if not, hell yeah.
We don't
But
know. You never know.
that's how we are, man. We're go with the flow kind of boys. The Block Bros with the flow. We got Hawaiian shirts that say Block Bros on it. That'd be sick. We should do that. But if you're a developer that wants to talk about your indie game with us, you can shoot us an email. It's blockbrospodcast@gmail.com. Again, that's blockbrospodcast@gmail.com. If you have a game you want us to talk about, you can either hit us up on any socials. It's blockbrospodcast on literally everything, or the email I said before, blockbrospodcast@gmail.com. Don't be afraid to reach out. We love hearing from you. If you've listened this far into the episode and you like what you hear, please don't forget to rate us 5 stars and write a review about us saying how much you love us. It really helps us get ad revenue and advertisers, and keeps the show going. We do this for free out of the kindness of a heart, but it wouldn't be bad to get paid. If you'd like to purchase the game, speaking of getting paid, if you'd like to purchase the game, we do have a link in the show notes. It's a humble bundle. We do get a kickback from that, full discretion. It's like a couple cents, and it goes to supporting the show. We do stream live to Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, every Tuesday between like 10 and 11 usually is when we start Central Standard Time. So if you want to see our beautiful face it's not just me, there's other people here, face is or see the game we're talking about, you can check it out there. The VODs are also available on YouTube and Twitch as well. Otherwise, we're on every single audio platform you can think of. Opening music is 8-Bit Fun by the Heatley Bros. And Tom, if they want to find you, where can they find you on the internet?
You can basically find me Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, all Tom Dykers tattoos. I also have, Anchor 13 Tattoo is basically my business Facebook page. So feel free to follow me on every platform, basically. My link tree will be below. So.
Hell yeah. And like you just said, our link trees are always in the show notes. If we have guests, they're always in the show notes. Everything's in the show notes, and they're linked out directly. If you want to follow me, I'm Sean is a Ginger. SCAN is a Ginger, all one word. And I stream for a living currently every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday at the very least. Sometimes more. Most of the time more. And yeah. I do that for a living, so come on by to the stream. Otherwise, I make content on every single platform, and my link tree is linked below. We will catch you guys next week. Bye.
Hey.
Oh, yeah, and Lost Cause Media is a Block Bros. Fuck. Block Bros podcast is a Lost Cause Media production.
Gotta say that like really fast. Block Bros podcast.
Let's practice. I'm gonna try. Ready? Block Bros podcast is a Block Cause Media production. That wasn't bad. All right,
that's pretty good.
Lost Cause Media.